Picture the good version of Australia. Bare feet on warm grass, late afternoon. A creek so shallow and warm it barely counts as water. A kid runs through it, laughing. This is the version people fly across the world just to stand in. Now look down. Something in that grass could kill him before help even finds the address. And it's not hiding 2 hours away in some national park. It's in the yard, under the mat, coiled in a laundry basket left on the back step overnight. Australia was never dangerous out where you expected it. It's dangerous exactly where everyone stopped looking. We're ranking the 13 deadliest snakes in the country, and we're not ranking them by how toxic their venom looks on a lab chart. We're ranking them by what actually happens to real people, in real backyards, on real dates you can look up yourself. Here's the twist that's going to bother you for the next 20 minutes. The snake with the single most terrifying venom stats on the entire planet lives right here in Australia, and it is nowhere near the top of this list. The one actually doing the killing is duller, plainer, and already closer to your house than you'd like. By the time we reach number 1, you'll have met a snake that carries enough raw venom in one bite to put down something like a dozen full-grown elephants, somewhere around 70 tons of elephant, for our American viewers doing the math along with us. Hold on to that number. It is not the snake we end on. If this kind of unease is your thing, you're already in the right place. There's a lot more of this coming, so stick around for it. For now, we start at the bottom, with the ones that barely make the list at all. 13. Lowland Copperhead. Most Australian snakes want warmth. This one genuinely doesn't care. The lowland copperhead is the only venomous snake in the country just as comfortable above the snow line as it is beside a farm dam, some individuals stretching past 1.5 meters, over 5 feet for our American viewers, longer than a pool cue. It tolerates cold that would shut down almost anything else with a heartbeat, which means the "it's too cold for snakes" rule you grew up trusting simply doesn't apply here. It shelters under corrugated iron, stacked timber, and the exact kind of woodpile most rural properties keep by the back door for winter. Bites are uncommon. When they happen to people who genuinely didn't think it was the season for this, in a species so rarely talked about that most people never learn to recognize it at all, which is its own kind of camouflage. Number 13 is the one that breaks a rule you didn't even know you were relying on. And the next one doesn't need a season at all. It just needs you not to notice. 12. Small-eyed snake. Small, nocturnal, easy to miss. Barely 20 inches long, 1/2 meter of almost nothing. It favors leaf litter, garden mulch, and the underside of logs left to rot. Exactly the spots people reach into bare-handed while gardening or clearing a yard. Its venom carries myotoxins, the kind that quietly break down muscle tissue from the inside out. The cruelty of it is the delay. Because the bite itself barely registers as painful, plenty of people simply keep working, hours before the muscle damage actually announces itself, long after the snake is gone, and the bite already looks like nothing worth mentioning to anyone, including a doctor. Number 12 is the one that lets you feel fine right up until you're not. By the time you notice something's wrong, the next one's already made its decision about you. 11. Rough-scaled snake. Found in rocky gorges and rainforest edges along the east coast, the rough-scaled snake overlaps territory with some of the region's most popular bushwalking trails, which means the people most likely to meet one are exactly the people out enjoying the scenery. It causes something with a name that sounds too clinical for what it actually does: venom-induced consumption coagulopathy. In plain terms, your blood forgets how to clot. Small cuts don't stop. Internal bleeding doesn't stop. Doctors have to move fast, because this kind of coagulopathy can turn a manageable bite into an emergency within hours. Bites are rare, because encounters with this one are rare, but when they happen fast, and the damage doesn't wait for you to get comfortable with the idea. Number 11 is the one that turns your own blood into the weapon. Here's the part that gets me about the next one. Everybody already knows what it looks like, and they're still wrong about it. 10. Red-bellied black snake. Here's the one everyone already fears, and here's why that fear is a little misplaced. Glossy black, a flash of red down the belly, growing past 2 meters, 6.5 feet, and it's the snake most people around Sydney or Brisbane will actually run into in a backyard. It's still one of the most frequent causes of snakebite hospital presentations in Eastern Australia, precisely because it's the one people are most likely to stumble across in the first place. And yet it rarely kills, because it tends to inject very little venom per bite, almost like it's saving itself for something more important. It would rather retreat than fight, and most bites happen when someone corners it without meaning to. It still needs urgent treatment. It's just not the villain its reputation has been writing it up to be for 100 years. Number 10 has main character looks and a supporting role bite. The next one doesn't move, and that's exactly the problem. 9. Death adder. Every other snake on this list runs. The death adder doesn't. It lies still, camouflaged against leaf litter, and waits, which means you don't avoid it by staying calm, because staying calm, standing still, looking around slowly, is precisely what puts your foot down next to it. Its strike is one of the fastest of any venomous snake alive, closing before you've registered that anything moved at all. Untreated bites kill roughly half the people who get them. It's also the only snake on this list whose main survival strategy is patience, which, on a continent full of animals built to run, flee, or hide, is almost impressively lazy. In 1998, a 9-year-old boy near Broome, Western Australia, stepped on one without ever seeing it, and died on the 2-hour drive to hospital, 112 miles away for our American viewers. Number 9 is the one that never moves, so all the moving has to be yours. The next one has already been inside more houses than you'd guess. 8. Dugite. Along Western Australia's coast and dry scrub, the dugite is common enough that most locals have a story about one. Snake catchers across Perth and the surrounding suburbs list it as one of their most frequent call-outs every summer, turning up in garages, under trampolines, and coiled along garden edging. Familiarity is exactly why so many people underestimate it. In 2015, a 75-year-old woman was bitten on the heel while walking a beach near Fremantle. She walked home first. She collapsed getting into the car to go to hospital. That's the pattern with this one. The bite barely registers as anything, and the real danger runs on a schedule that has nothing to do with how you feel in the moment after. Number 8 is the one that lets you walk away, briefly, before it doesn't. The next one is the reason size isn't the scary part. 7. Mulga snake, also called the king brown. The largest venomous snake in the country, some individuals stretching close to 3 meters, about 10 feet, nearly the length of a small car for our American viewers. And despite the name, it isn't a brown snake at all. It belongs to the black snake family. Its venom combines muscle-destroying myotoxins with anticoagulants, meaning it can break down your own tissue and stop your blood from clotting at the same time. A 1-2 combination most other Australian snakes only manage 1/2 of. Size alone should have made this snake famous nationwide, the kind of thing tour guides point out from a safe distance. It mostly hasn't, because it mostly keeps to itself, out past where the cameras go. In the dry inland country most visitors never actually drive through. Farmhands and station workers are the ones who tend to meet it instead, usually while clearing sheds, moving machinery, or checking on livestock in the kind of outbuildings nobody thinks to sweep out first. Number 7 is the one big enough to matter, and quiet enough that it usually doesn't have to. Everything from here up gets worse. If a snake list just made you rethink your own backyard, you already know why people come back to this channel. Now keep guessing, because whatever you think closes this list, you're probably wrong. 6. Inland Taipan. By raw laboratory toxicity, this is, drop for drop, the most venomous land snake on Earth. A single bite theoretically carries enough venom to kill around 100 adult humans, and it sits at number 6 on a list that's ranking real danger. Not because the venom is any less real, but because the Inland Taipan lives out in some of the most remote claypan desert country in Australia, avoids people on sight, and retreats the moment it senses one anywhere nearby. It could be the deadliest name on this entire list. It almost never gets the chance to prove it. Number 6 is proof that the scariest number on paper isn't always the one that matters. The next one has a name you can actually look up, from a crowd of thousands who never saw it happen. 5. Tiger snake. Found from Tasmania up through the southern mainland, the tiger snake's venom causes paralysis and stops blood from clotting, and it has kept killing people well into the last decade. In December 2018, 20-year-old Callum Edwards was bitten at a music festival in Victoria. His symptoms were first mistaken for a drug overdose, and he died days later. In January 2020, 79-year-old Winston Fish was bitten while herding sheep on his own Tasmanian farm. The snake still wrapped around his arm when a friend found him. His brother said afterward that it looked like something out of a horror movie. It wasn't. It was a Tuesday. Number 5 is the one that still catches people who grew up around it their whole lives. The next one is where the elephant math finally pays off. 4. Coastal taipan. Here's that elephant number from the top of the video, landing. A single milking from a coastal taipan has been measured at just under 5 grams of venom, a fraction of an ounce, less than the weight of a couple of coins. And by weight, that's enough toxin to kill over 1,000 adult humans in one dose. Scale that against body mass, and you land somewhere around a dozen full-grown elephants, 70 tons of elephant, dead, from a single bite. In 1950, a young snake collector named Kevin Budden caught a live specimen near Cairns, so scientists could finally study its venom properly. The taipan bit him. He died days later, but the tissue and venom samples he insisted on delivering first led directly to Australia's first taipan antivenom. His death is the specific reason people now survive this snake at all. Number 4 is the one that already dropped the elephants. It is still not the one at number 1. Sit with that for a second. 3. Western brown snake, also called the guardar. Common across the drier interior, this one keeps turning up in places people had assumed were safe by definition. In Western Australia, one man was bitten on the toe while sitting at his own computer, indoors, at home, the snake having gotten in through some gap nobody had ever thought to check. Another was found dead 2 days after his own emergency call because he couldn't tell the operator exactly where he was standing, and the search that followed covered ground that had felt completely unremarkable the day before. This isn't a snake of the deep bush anymore. It's a snake of the hallway, the home office, the back step at 10 at night, the load of washing left out one day too long. Number 3 is the one that's already inside the house. The next one broke an 80-year streak, and almost nobody noticed. 2. Sea snake. For more than 80 years, nobody in Australia died from a sea snake bite, long enough that entire generations of swimmers, divers, and fishermen grew up treating it as background noise, a theoretical danger that belonged in textbooks rather than in the water they actually swam in. Most species are shy, with small fangs built for gripping fish, not people, which is exactly why the danger had quietly slipped off everyone's radar for generations. Then in 2018, someone did. It's the outlier on this entire list, the one danger nobody had actively been watching for, because every set of eyes for 100 years had been fixed on the grass, the bush, the backyard. Not the water everyone was swimming in that same afternoon, on a coastline people had been told, correctly, for decades, was one of the safer places to be. Number 2 is the reminder that the moment you stop watching one direction, is exactly when something changes in the other. 1. Eastern brown snake. Forget the elephants for a second. This is the one that actually kills people, more than every other snake on this list combined. And it does it with venom that isn't even the most toxic in the country. What it has instead is proximity. The eastern brown snake lives in grasslands, farms, cane fields, and suburban backyards, from Queensland down through New South Wales and into South Australia, closer to more Australians on any given day than any other animal on this list. It's plain brown, sometimes almost gray, with none of the visual warning signs that make the taipans and black snakes look the part they're supposed to play. It can kill a person in under 15 minutes, faster than almost any other snake alive, and it does it quietly enough that some victims have simply been found collapsed, with no memory of ever being bitten at all. In September 2020, a 40-year-old Tongan fruit picker named Timote Ongosia was bitten while working a Queensland farm and died from it. One of the quiet, unglamorous deaths this snake causes almost every single year, to people just doing outdoor work in places they had no particular reason to think were dangerous that day. More than half of Australia's snakebite deaths since the year 2000 happened at home, and this snake is the reason for most of them. Not out in the wild, in the yard, sometimes in the house itself, while someone was asleep, in a country where hospitals stock anti-venom precisely because of how often this exact species is the reason it's needed. Here's the part that actually gets me. The world's most venomous land snake spends its entire life avoiding humans in the desert, on purpose, successfully. The snake that's actually killing Australians looks like nothing, lives everywhere, and has been statistically closer to you than any other predator on this list for the entire length of this video. Not the one with the scariest lab numbers. 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 The one that looks like nothing happening in the grass. The barbecue smell is still there. The sprinkler's still running. The grass is still that impossible shade of green people fly across the world just to stand on. None of that was ever the lie. The lie was thinking beautiful and safe were the same word. Out here, they were never the same word. Somewhere right now, in a yard that looks exactly like the one you pictured at the start of this video, one of these 13 is moving through the grass, and nobody watching it happen even knows to look down. The barbecue's still going, someone's about to walk over and check on it, barefoot, the way people have done here for 200 years without a second thought. Nothing about that has to change. It just helps to know exactly what you're sharing the grass with. Which one of these would you least want to find under your own back step? If your answer changed halfway through this list, you already know why people come back to this channel. There's another one just like it waiting for you next. And it isn't about snakes at all.